So a very warm welcome to everyone who has joined in for today's virtual dialogue on peace. It's so amazing to see all your vibrant smiles, and it's an honor and a privilege to see such a diverse set of participants coming together in celebration of International Peace Day. Thank you all for joining in. My name is Amanda Fernandez. I'm currently working at the YWCA of India as a youth intern. It is with great pleasure and honor that I would like to welcome you all for today's virtual session. Today's peace dialogue on mobilizing youth in peace building and creating safe spaces. We have panelists from India, Bangladesh, Japan, speaking about the role of youth in peace building, international cooperation, and most importantly, youth voices in YWCAs. I would now like to introduce to you all our dynamic General Secretary, Mrs. Kalpana David, National President, Dr. Shakuntala David, Deanne Ann Matthew, National Secretary for Administrations and Programs, and to all my fellow YWCA youth volunteers present here today. I now call upon Yashika Sharma, YWCA Young Women Rise Up lead, to give us a greater insight on the significance of today's event. Over to you, Yashika. It's so lovely that all of you all have dressed up in your ethnic attires. You all are looking fabulous.
Exactly. Hi everybody. I am Yashika, Rise Up Lead, YWCA of India. On the International Day of Peace, we are here for this meeting and hope you guys have a nice time. So the International Day of Peace was established in 1981 by the United Nations General Assembly. 2 decades later, in 2001, the General Assembly unanimously voted to designate the day as a period of non-violence and ceasefire. Following the tradition, theme for the International Day of Peace, as given by UN General Assembly, is recovering better for an equitable and sustainable world. And in lines with the UN theme, YWCA of India has decided their theme as mobilizing youth in peace building and creating safe spaces. In 2021, as we heal from the COVID-19 pandemic, we are inspired to think creatively and collectively about how to help everyone recover better, how to build resilience, and how to transfer our world into one which is equal, more just, inclusive, sustainable, and healthier. The pandemic has been accompanied by a surge in stigma, discrimination, and hatred, which only cost more lives instead of saving them. Confronting the common enemy of humankind, we must be reminded that we are not each other's enemy. To be able to recover from the devastation of the pandemic, we must strive to be kinder human beings. And we must make peace with nature as well. Despite the travel restrictions and economic shutdowns, climate change is not on pause. What we need is a green and sustainable global economy that produces jobs, reduces emissions, and builds resilience to climate impacts. We invite you to join the efforts of the United Nations family as we focus on the recovering better for a more equitable and peaceful world. Celebrate peace by standing up against acts of hate online and offline, and by spreading compassion, kindness, hope, joy in the face of pandemic. And as we recover together. Now, I would like to call the moderator of the event, Amanda, to take the event forward.
Thank you, Yashika. A special thanks to Casey, a special warm welcome to Casey Harden, World YWCA General Secretary. We welcome you, Casey Harden. Now, I would like to invite Balmi Chisholm from the YWCA of Bangladesh. Balmi Chisholm is an advocate at the Dhaka Judge Court, provides training and legal counseling to the RMG female workers, legal, and psychological assistance for domestic violence victims with the Workers' Rights Organization. She has also worked for research initiatives, solidarity centers like AFL-CIO, worked as a team member for the World YWCA at the Cross-Regional Leadership Training, pursued internships at World YWCA Geneva, International Labour Organizations Dhaka, and Bangladesh National Human Rights Commission Dhaka. Balmi has also worked as a street lawyer at the Empowerment Through the Law of the Common People. Thank you so much, Balmi Chisholm, for being a part of today's dialogue. We are honored to have you here. Balmi Chisholm will now be speaking on the role of youth in peace building and the YWCA of Bangladesh efforts for the same. Over to you, Balmi Chisholm.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for the introduction. Thank you very much for giving the opportunity to share my speech on that occasion of World Peace Day. Today, I have been asked to talk about my feeling or my realization about the World Peace Day and about the incidents, ongoing issues in Bangladesh. And the rest of the issues will be shared by our Shumi Clara Di Costa. Okay, good afternoon and hello everyone.
Good afternoon.
I am Balmi Chisholm, member and a volunteer for local YWCA, Bidishiri YWCA, and National YWCA of Bangladesh. And I am a Garo indigenous young woman and a lawyer from the northeast part of my country. And besides my legal practice, I work for the vulnerable women community of ready-made garment sector, who are known as the largest, second largest RMG export in the world market. And firstly, I would like to express my gratitude to the team National YWCA of Bangladesh for choosing me as one of the speakers for this webinar. And I also would like to thank Bidishiri YWCA for standing by me and for being a part of my journey and supporting and encouraging me to move forward. Since 2020, we are still fighting the COVID-19 pandemic. Apart from the negative effects, personally, this pandemic helped me to give up, help me to give a pause to my frantic busy thinking and I stopped trying to figure out life. Firmly, it has shaped my personal definition of peace. I learned that peace is not indulging every whim. It is a wise choice for well-being. To me, peace is practicing gratitude, practicing minimalism. It is setting healthy personal boundaries. Peace is healing anger, resentment, and grief for good. Moreover, I think that the pandemic situation inspired and taught us to think creatively and collectively about helping each other to recover better, building resilience. It helped us to transform ourselves with more equal, more just, equitable, inclusive, sustainable, and in a healthier way. And this pandemic is known for hitting the underprivileged and marginalized groups of the hardest, and accompanied by a surge of stigma, discrimination, and hatred, which only cost more lives instead of saving them. People caught in conflict, especially vulnerable in terms of lack of access to healthcare. COVID virus attacks all us without caring about where we are from or what we believe in. So, confronting humankind's this common enemy, we must be reminded that we are not each other's enemy. We must make peace with one another to be able to recover from this devastation. As our introducer, sister said it, we must make peace with nature. Climate change is not on pause.
So we will be talking about the activities. She said that. She said
climate change is not on pause. Despite travel restrictions and economic shutdowns, we need a green and sustainable global economy that produces jobs, reduces emission, and builds resilience for climate compacts. So let's celebrate peace by standing up against acts of hate online and offline, by spreading compassion, kindness, hope in the face of pandemic, and as we recover. Thank you once again.
Thank you, Balmi.
You're welcome.
I now call upon the staff of YWCA of Bangladesh, Clara, to talk about the activities undertaken by the YWCA of Bangladesh in relation to peace building.
Okay, thank you, Amanda. And Amanda, for giving me the chance to talk about our activities in Bangladesh YWCA. So I'm not gonna talk so much, or I'm not gonna bigger my speech, but I want to share our goal at first, that shaping social peace together, ensure equity is most important for us. And our objective is to establish civil rights by creating awareness about democracy and good governance, social peace and justice among the targeted population, especially the youth. Actually, since we do not have big conflicts in our country, but because our government took it under control, and this is why it's not, it's not growing, which our conflicts are. So we are not actually working directly into the country issues, but we do some activities in our local YWCAs because they work for good governance and democracy, and also social peace and justice, to just build peace and justice and their social unity. So our activity is like like if we focus for social peace and harmony, then we do some training of trainers and some seminars. Also, we do some youth seminars, also discussion meetings and workshop as well. Also, we focus on we focus on democracy and good governance, also civil rights and virtues on good citizen. Also, we do every year the leadership fair, and we do have some youth in our local YWCAs where they are working on like building community and some
I'm
social
so sorry to interrupt you, but we're running short on time. So thank you so much for all the you made us aware of all the activities undertaken by YWCA of Bangladesh. We now invite Miss Mary Johanna Fernandez from the YWCA of India. Mary Johanna is currently pursuing her master's in economics from Goa University. She has completed her graduation from Carmel College with an honors in economics. She has been a member of YWCA of Goa for the past 4 years and has led and participated in various advocacies, national conventions, and youth programs. She is also a part of movements such as Sustainable Menstruation, Skip the Straw 2020 by 2021, and much more. So presenting before you is Johanna, who will be speaking about the role of youth in peace building in India. Over to you, Johanna.
Thank you so much, Amanda. Am I audible?
Yes.
Thank you so much for this lovely introduction. And I thank the YWCA of India for giving me this opportunity. So without wasting time, I'd like to speak my piece. In the words of Jane Addams, true peace is not merely the absence of war, it is the presence of justice. Young people are subjected to policy negligence, hard-fisted security measures, and experiences of inclusions from multiple shareholders for years now. This is one thing that needs to change if we want the youth to play a constructive role in peace building in India. We are seeing change in private businesses where young people are given opportunities and places of importance in planning and administration in companies and heads of departments. However, the youth population of our country is 1/5 of the total population as per the 2011 census. Today, we will examine the policy for the youth in India and ways we can actively engage youth in peace building and prevention of violent extremism. India ranks 135th in the Global Peace Index as of 2020 and 5th in the region. The GPI takes into account parameters that include number of deaths due to internal disturbances, level of criminality in society, level of respect for human rights, terrorist activities, number of violent demonstrations, and many, many more, which, as we all know, has seen an increase in the last couple of years in our country. Such ranking places India as one of the most violent countries in the world. Other than communal riots, there are other active separatist movements, tribal unrest, and gender-based violence that never seems to stop. India is also one of the youngest nations in the world, with about 65% of the population under 35 years of age, making it a very, very young country. The youth in the age group of 15 to 29 years comprises of 27.5% of the population as per the National Youth Policy 2014, making the youth in India about 380 million. That shows what an uphill task it is that we have to work with. Young men aged 15 to 29 amount for majority of casualties of lethal armed violence, while women and men face risk of physical and sexual exploitations. Now, for the youth to actively contribute to building peace, 4 things are mostly important. First, their needs need to be addressed. And how do we do that? Is we listen to them. We listen and understanding to the wants and needs what the youth decide and what they want. Secondly, participation must be encouraged. And how do we do that? Encourage participation at home and especially government its institutions. Thirdly, their voice is amplified. And fourth, their encouragement advanced. And all this is possible only if we start treating them equally, not questioning their judgment by putting older beliefs or experiences over theirs, but listening to them and treating them as an equal, channeling their curiosity and encouraging it. We also need to address disinformation campaigns susceptible to political manipulation that seek to exploit the youth. We need to encourage youth to be leaders, and we need to vote for them.
Thank you, Johanna.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Johanna. Now we invite Ms. Sharon Sampson. Ms. Sharon Sampson is National Youth Board member from the Southeast region. She also holds a bachelor's degree in English. She's also completed a master's in philosophy and English language teaching, currently pursuing her doctorate in English language teaching from SRM Institute of Science and Technology. She was also the champion for the YWCA Creche chairperson. She YWCA Community Center, YBPA Youth Club, recording secretary. She's also organized workshops on menstrual hygiene, suicidal awareness campaigns, and much more. So it's lovely having you over, Sharon. Over to you. Sharon will be giving us a brief insight as to what were the activities conducted by the YWCA of India in promoting peace and security.
Thank you so much, Amanda. Can we just go over to the PPT? So, good evening, my dear friends, sisters of the movement, and well-wishers of the YWCA. It gives me immense pleasure to share before you the programs, initiatives, and other projects conducted by the YWCA of India in association with International
Sharon? So sorry to interrupt. Are you presenting, Sharon?
I'm sorry, I've shared it with the national office. So can Dia or someone just
yes, we will present it in a bit.
All right,
just a minute. You can continue.
Can I just go ahead, or do you
Yes,
want me
yes,
to
you
share the
can.
presentation?
If you could, that would be great.
All right, fine. Yeah, just give me a moment.
Yeah, yeah.
Is everybody able to see my screen?
Yes, Sharon, you're visible.
Fine, yeah. Thank you so much. So moving over to the first presentation done, like the first program, which was done by the YWCA of India, was a dialogue with the youth on sustainability on International Youth Day. So we had the famous, polar remote sensing scientist, Dr. Vishnu Nandan with us. And through this, we were able to, focus on a panel discussion and how to work over with waste management and, suggestive actions for a better planet. So we had a few themes which we had taken from the UN as well as the World YWCA, and we had recommended all the local YWCAs to focus and conduct various events and activities on the theme Youth for Sustainability and Environment, Health, and a Peaceful Coexistence. So this was one of the programs that we conducted in line with the Youth Day, and on how to safeguard and secure our nature. And the second program what we had was Suicide Prevention Day, a Circle of Light. So this was actually a healing place created by the youth members on how not to be judgmental and how to, create a safe community, creating hope through action as a way forward to listen to stories of courage and resilience. So many young people had come forward to share their stories, and it was a space of joy and light which was shared. And the next one was a gender sensitization workshop, where a lot of workshop on awareness was conducted by the youth members to understand the better dynamics of gender in the Indian cultural context. So many young people from all over the country, from the various YWCAs, local YWCAs, they had actively taken part in this particular workshop. And next is the Interfaith Dialogue, where, as all of you all know, India is a land of diverse cultures and faiths. So people from the movement and, our associate members from different faiths, they come together and unite in harmony during the week of prayer. And the next one are some of the social media campaigns which we actually carried out. So there were different campaigns that was carried out on Facebook and Instagram and Twitter, and some of them were with the tagline, "From now on." So this campaign focused on how to create an awareness on the subtle passive gender opinions of people in our society. And this campaign led a lot of young women to share incidents which made them feel discriminated in some of their societies or the communities which they belong to. And the next one was, the second one was Women in the Forefront. So this was a campaign which was very active on Instagram as well as Twitter. We had selected few women. We featured few women who have worked hard and gone beyond the social stratas and barriers to represent a particular section of the society. And this result was very impactful because it motivated a lot of young people, and it allowed them to take up the challenges which they were facing from the society and from the traditional ideologies, but it gave them a lot of power, and these women proved to be a real outstanding inspiration for many of the young people from all over who went through these posts from India. And the next one was United by Why. So this was one of the next hashtag by which the YWCA of India went. And we carried this out today on the 21st of September, 2021, on the day of International Peace, where, yes?
I'm so sorry to interrupt. I'm so sorry. Thank you so much, Sharon, but we're
Yes,
just running
fine.
a little short on time. Thank you
All
so
right.
much, Sharon. Sharon provided us an insight as to the activities that the YWC has conducted and how the way we are sharing the activities we have conducted, how it helps us create international peace and cooperation, how we can mobilize youth leadership, young women's youth leadership. So thank you so much, Sharon. I now invite Aki Yoshida from YWCA of Japan. Aki Yoshida is currently Japan's board secretary, Sapporo's YWCA member, former pilgrimage to Hiroshima committee member. So welcome you, Aki. Aki will be discussing the role of youth in peace building in Japan, and she will also be sharing with us programs undertaken by the YWCA of Japan towards conflict prevention and international cooperation. Over to you, Aki.
Thank you very much, Amanda. Good afternoon or good evening, YWCA sisters. I'm Aki Yoshida, a board secretary from the YWCA of Japan. And I'm so honored to be here. In my presentation today, I'd like to introduce the work of the YWCA of Japan, especially our work focused on peace building. I'd like to use the PowerPoint. Sorry. Okay. Okay, yeah, let me assume. The YWCA of Japan was founded in 1905 and has 24 local associations in different sizes and diverse areas of work. On peace building throughout Japan, ever since the end of the Asia-Pacific War, the YWCA's role as a peacemaker has always been a central part of our work. And this determination comes from the remorse for the period leading up to and during the Asia-Pacific War. During that time, the YWCA of Japan was not only being unable to stop the Japanese military aggression, but was also obliged to participate in the nationwide policy of militarism and colonialism. We stopped communicating with the World YWCA, abandoning the nature of world movement, admitted the YWCA of Korea under colonial rule to transfer into the YWCA of Japan, and founded a new YWCA in Shanghai for Japanese women. Such deeds resulted from our involvement with Japanese militarism that caused terrible sufferings on the women in the colonized countries, which we deeply regret. Now, we strongly believe that we should never go the same path again, and therefore have strived as a movement working for the realization of peace. We adopted the apology for the Asia-Pacific War and the resolution for commitment to world peace in 2009 to confirm this conviction. Also, the YWCA of Japan clarified its position in 1970 to oppose not only nuclear weapons, but also the use of nuclear energy altogether. This standpoint stays our central belief up to this day. Now, let me introduce one program which plays a central role in the YWCA Japan's work for peace. The pilgrimage to Hiroshima is an annual peace education program held every summer since 1971. Around 50 participants from all ages visit Hiroshima and learn from memorial sites and testimonials of survivors who experienced the atomic bombing. Visiting Hiroshima means many different things. Hiroshima is the city where an atomic bomb was used against humans for the first time in 1945, wiping out the city and killing 140,000 people. Even 76 years after the bombing, the survivors are still suffering from the effects of exposure to radiation. However, Hiroshima is also a perpetrator of war. Hiroshima, at the time of the bombing, was also accommodating important military facilities of Japanese Imperial Army, including a former military headquarters and an army cadet school. The Infantry Corps Number 11, which was deployed to many areas in Asia, was based in Hiroshima. We believe it is vital to remember the cruel acts committed by the Japanese military policies during that time when discussing peace and what happened in Hiroshima. We must also remember that there were many Korean and Chinese residents who suffered the atomic bombing, who were brought to Japan for forced labor, as well as those who had to leave their homeland as a result of colonization. This photograph is a memorial monument of the Korean victims of the atomic bomb. Next, please. But the pilgrimage to Hiroshima is first and foremost a program to nurture young women peacemakers for the next generation. Let me share the voices of former participants, now peace advocates, about what they have learned from this program. As a former volunteer leader of the program and now a national board member, Suzuka was a driving force behind our recent social media peace campaign. I can only imagine the atomic bomb and the life during the war, but the atomic bomb dome speaks to me very strongly, knowing that this building was actually there at that moment, on that morning. Listening to the testimony, I suddenly realized that this person had really seen that Hiroshima on that day with those eyes and walked that city with those legs. During a visit to a church, I learned that they used to hold rituals for the emperor and services praying for victory in war. I never knew such things before. And next, please. Litsu, too, was a former volunteer leader, and she made a presentation about the program at a parallel event at the UN Commission on the Status of Women. The beauty of this program is to touch others' perspectives and to receive it flexibly, regardless of the age and nationality. After I joined this program, I had confidence to spread my ideas and convey it in front of an audience. As thanks to this program, I clarified my vision and made a decision to enter the university, which I now attend. As I entered the university, I wanted to repay the program for giving me great experiences. But therefore, I decided to participate in the program as a volunteer leader this time. Well, actually, this year is the 50th anniversary of the pilgrimage to Hiroshima program. The COVID-19 pandemic has kept us from visiting Hiroshima together, but our young women leader took the initiative to launch a special webpage to commemorate the anniversary and encourage leaders to virtually visit and think of Hiroshima and what we can do for peace. Okay.
Ma'am, I'm so sorry to interrupt. If you could wrap it up, ma'am.
Oh, sorry. Okay. So to conclude, there are more than 10,000 nuclear weapons today, which are much more powerful than the ones that caused destruction in Hiroshima and Nagasaki. Such weapons pose a threat to peace. And as agreed in the World Council resolution adopted in Thailand in 2015, let us work together to create a nuclear-free world. Thank you. And back to you, Amanda.
Thank you, Aki Yoshida. It was great listening to your insights. I would now like to call upon Miss Cassie Harden if she would like to say a few words. Ms. Cassie Haddon is the World YWCA General Secretary.
Thank you so much, Amanda, for giving me just a moment to say hello and share greetings from the World YWCA team all over the world, as well as our board of directors. This has been a really provocative and touching, heartfelt opportunity to name and be present on International Day of Peace. So thank you so much for hosting again, really an event to center and ground us on a really important day. The work of peace has been central to the work of the World YWCA since we came to be. It's the one effort that we all work on collectively in every region of the world, and we have for over a century. And that's an unfortunate reality, but when I hear everyone speaking today, especially young women leaders that I can follow, I really, in a world where peace seems impossible often and unattainable, actually on a session like this, hearing from really strong, bold women, vision and clarity, it feels not so impossible. So let us keep doing this work together. World YWCA, we have our Bullet and Dove webinar series that have involved and will continue to involve leaders around the globe, YWCA leaders, around issues of peace and security and a world without war. Please let's all join that effort together. Also, we have a series of podcasts that we posted recently. It's for young women leaders from areas all over the world, but sharing the common issue of patriarchy and conflict, sharing their views. And lastly, just the last thing I'll say is to remind us of our goal 2035 of 100 million young women and girls transforming power structures to create justice, gender equality, and a world without violence and war. So thanks to all of you.
Thank you, Cassie. We also have Dr. Shakuntala David, who is our national president of the YWCA of India. Shakuntala ma'am, if you would like to say a few words.
Sure. Namaskar. Great joy and pleasure to hear young women speak, and good to see familiar faces. Aki, Sumi, it's really nice to reconnect and see each other using this beautiful technology where we can connect with each other. I have a few observations and a few recommendations. You know, we are all living in a world full of violence, whether it's domestic violence or violence due to political reasons. All our countries with the past history, present, and what can we do with the present is the biggest challenge that we have at hand. As Cassie says, this our goal of 2035, that we need to impact the lives of 100 million young people is very important and the key to any change that is about to come. So when we talk about peace is goes together with confidence, peace goes together with empowering each other, peace goes together with sharing, peace goes together with connect with each other. And all I would like to say that today we are 3 YWCAs. If India could take the lead of all Southeast Asia to get together once in 3 months, you know, we had to cut Sharon off, we had to cut Aki off because of time limit. Can we plan a little bigger sessions? India take a lead every 3 months that we come on board and we share with each other. We are not able to meet physically as we met a few years ago with Bakita and Tanya, and that's where we met each other physically. In today's reality, we are not able to meet together physically. However, we can connect by this media so that we support each other, we hear it from each other, we get ideas from each other, and we are able to collectively move ahead. We must encourage young people, and I'm so happy that we have a young board. Cassie, you have a young board. that you can mentor and train. We are very, very happy to have Bagita from our end, the vibrant young woman, Sharon, and so many others who are staff. And we are intentionally moving towards getting more and more young people on our staff also to move ahead. So with those words, let us continue to create these opportunities and for dialogue, for exchange and support, and move ahead with confidence, not give up, as hard as it may seem at some time. As Cassie says, there's still, when we hear these young voices, there still is some hope that there will be some peace. Sometimes for us, it seems impossible, but there is a ray of hope. So thank you for joining it. Thank you for coming. YWCA of India is grateful for everybody's initiative, everybody's involvement, local, personal, national, international, regional level. So God be with us till we meet again. Thank you very much for joining.
Thank you so much, Shakuntala ma'am. It was great. Thank you so much. You spoke very briefly about how we've joined here to build the international community, talking about promoting peace and security, talking about conflict prevention. Thank you so much, ma'am. I would now like to call upon Ms. Pooja Mandal to conclude the session. Over to you, Ms. Pooja.
Thank you so much, Amanda. I hope I'm audible to everybody. I couldn't find a better way to conclude this session on peace and security is by gathering all the pointers from our YWCA sisters today, and how much gratitude I feel towards being part of this session. I'd like to start by saying that Ms. Balni very briefly and very beautifully put up that peace is practicing gratitude. Peace is practicing personal boundaries and practicing minimalism. As soon as she said these words, I realized how important they were, and how much impact they have on our lives. How YWCA Bangladesh put forward the peace and justice and social unity being the focus of their work has helped them in clarifying and building towards becoming global peacemakers. How YWCA India focused on how young people are subjected to the absence of decision making, and how as youth we have to actively involve in peace building, and how that can be done is by making space on the table for young leaders and young minds to voice their opinions and to be part of the movement, how we have been silently and in parts of activism and now in decision making. And how Dr. Shakuntala David pointed out that we have to move in confidence towards a goal of 2035, and we have to collectively come together as one. And I would like to finish my wordings here by saying that we have to remember how important and how vital it is to remember and document the sufferings of people who have been affected by war, and how it is important to read and remember those testimonials and realize what impact of war has on a day-to-day basis on communities, on countries. And we have to be kinder to each other. We have to look forward our social barriers and our challenges to accept that we as the imperfect human beings, we have to strive to become better. We have to be kinder to each other. And by this, I'd like to conclude my session. And it was a great honor to be part of this session. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Pooja. So well concluded. We couldn't have asked for a better way. Thank you, Pooja. I would just like to recite a short poem titled Amazing Peace by Maya Angelou. In our joy, we think we hear a whisper. At first, it is too soft, then only half heard. We listen carefully as it gathers strength. We hear sweetness. The word is peace. It is loud now, louder than the explosions of bombs. We tremble at the sound. We are thrilled by its presence. It is what we have hungered for. Not just the absence of war, but true peace. a harmony of spirit and comfort of courtesies, security of our beloveds and their beloveds. We, angels and mortals, believers and non-believers, look heavenward and speak the word aloud. Peace. We look at each other, then into ourselves. And we say without shyness or apology or hesitation, peace, my brother, peace, my sister, peace, my soul. Thank you so much. Now I would like to introduce to you all Michelle, who is our programs associate, to give the vote of thanks.
Good evening, everybody. It's been a wonderful evening, and I was really happy with all of you coming in such a large number. I would like to thank the participants from Bangladesh, from Japan, from India to come here, talk about peace, and to listen to each other, what we have in our own countries, whatever is happening around our borders. I would like to thank our president, Dr. David. I would like to thank our General Secretary, Kalpana David, ma'am. I would like to thank Dia and our National Secretary, Cassie, was joined us from the worldwide. I would also like to thank Sumi and Mukta ma'am and Sumi from Bangladesh. Everybody helped us coordinate this program perfectly. And I would like to thank my team, Amanda, Pooja, and Yashika. They have been wonderful in support and handling everything here. So in the end, I would like to wrap up thanking everybody, all the participants for this overwhelming response. I hope we take forward this peace dialogue to the coming months, like Shakuntala ma'am had pointed out, and hoping to see you soon. Thank you so much, everybody. Have a good day.